happening, ladies and gentlemen? Ty with the GoPro strapped to his head. We are taking a drive in the 2024 Volkswagen Taos. Now this is an SEL trim, so it's got all the features and nannies going on, and we also have all-wheel drive, which means we have the dual clutch transmission. One interesting thing about the Taos is if you get front-wheel drive, you get an 8-speed torque converter transmission, but if you get all-wheel drive like we have here, we get a dual clutch transmission. Interesting. But let's take a drive in the Taos and kind of put it through its paces. And by the end of this video, I think you'll get a pretty good idea on how it drives without really driving it. Now, first things first, if you're interested in seeing a full features review on this particular Taos, you can find that very video on my channel. We kind of go through all of the features the vehicle has to offer, both outside, inside, under the hood, under the trunk. So we really go in depth with a full features review on this car. But back to the test drive. We are starting out in, I believe, yes, eco mode. And we're gonna kind of switch up the driving modes accordingly throughout the test drive. Now this first road we're going to be on is a kind of more of a main road, so hopefully we'll get it up to some higher speeds, you know, 45, 50 miles an hour. Initial impressions on the Taos, you definitely get that dual clutch transmission kind of lurchiness here and there. You have to just be careful with your throttle inputs at lower speeds, or else it might be a little bit jerky. But as with anything, you kind of learn how to drive it, and with some little bit easier throttle inputs, you can definitely get this to drive pretty smooth. And speaking of smooth, the ride is pretty, is just that. It is pretty smooth. Actually pretty quiet in here too. Good sound insulation. You know, I could barely hear the oncoming cars now that we're up over 40 miles an hour. Just a bit of tire noise going on. And really not a whole lot of noise intrusion from the outside, so that's pretty good. Now at this intersection here, we're going to make a right onto this back road where we're going to test out the acceleration. So what we'll do is we'll pop it into sport mode, and that will kind of change up the gearing on the transmissions, or the transmission I should say, and that'll give us a little bit of a sharper throttle response, and we'll see what kind of acceleration we could do. We're working with the 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Got about 158 horsepower, 184 pound-feet of torque, so it does have quite a bit of torque. And let's give it the beans. Full throttle. So, not too bad on the acceleration side. Really not too bad at all. The torque is definitely a pretty big figure in this car. We'll put it back into normal mode, so it's not revving like crazy. So that you definitely feel the torque in the lower end of the engine, lower end of the RPM range. And yeah, I would say it has plenty of acceleration power for around town and, you know, your occasional highway trip. So really not too bad. The dual clutch transmission did a great job of shifting gears very fast, and that's what kind of dual clutches are known for. Fast and smooth gear shifts, and this is no exception to that. So yeah, definitely pretty good acceleration power with this car. And this 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder has been out for a couple of years with Volkswagen, and this power plant in the Jetta is exceptional. It really does have a great amount of power in the Jetta. And if you take a look at my channel, we did do a video on a Volkswagen Jetta as well too, and it also had a 6-speed manual with the 1.5 liter turbo, so that was a pretty actually a pretty fun car to drive. But back to the Taos. Now that we have a pretty uneven road, the roads are just getting worse and worse here in the Northeast each winter that comes by. But the Taos does a great job of soaking up the bumps. It's actually a pretty comfortable suspension. We have the SEL trim, which gives you the 19-inch wheels, so there's not a whole lot of tire sidewall, but even with the larger wheels, it rides pretty good. The turbo 4-cylinder under the hood is also pretty quiet too, so I must say that. We have one more kind of sharp curve coming up here, so let's see if we could, there's not too much sand here. Actually, the Taos has a pretty nice suspension setup, just doing that one corner there. Not a whole lot of body roll going on. It definitely feels pretty good in the corners, so that's a plus as well. Now this particular one we're driving, of course, is the all-wheel drive SEL model, so it stickers for just above $36,000. A little bit steep in this category of car, but there are some nice features in this car. So this one's got heated and cooled seats. It's got the heated steering wheel. It's got the full panoramic sunroof, as you can see. It's closed up right now. It's got a shade, and it's also got Beats audio system, so that's pretty awesome too. There's a couple of things that I would like to see, like a powered trunk lid. Now, no Taoses will come with that feature. Would be nice to see in a $36,000 car within this segment. But really, the only complaints I have with this car are a couple of missing features, such as the power tailgate and just the price. The price seems a little bit steep in this category. It's got plenty of safety features. Fully digital dash is standard. You've got a nice 8-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. So it's got most of the features. I think the price is a little bit steep. But that pretty much wraps up our test drive video on the Taos. Again, if you want to see all the features this vehicle has to offer, head on over to my channel. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos to watch. But to wrap up the Taos, I definitely like this car a lot. I like the way it drives. It's comfortable, it's quiet, and it's a really good size for this segment. Just a little bit light on features and a little bit pricey. So those are my only two complaints. But I hope you have enjoyed the Taos just as much as I have, and I also hope you stick with us here at Ty Drives for more videos just like this one.